Proudly standing next to a fighter jet, William Allen Lundy, reportedly 107 years old, posed for this photo at Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. The image was included in a 1955 article for the Boston Traveler. Lundy was fondly remembered as Uncle Bill by his family members, and he was nationally celebrated as the last surviving veteran from the Civil War who had allegedly fought for the Confederate States of America. While the goals behind his military service itself were considered shameful by some, the truth may be infinitely more so, as an exposé unveiled evidence that he may not have been a veteran at all. According to Lundy in later life and supported by his personal records, he was born on January 18, 1848 in Pike County, Alabama. Other reports claim he was born at Coffee Springs in Coffee County, Alabama. His claim to veteran status came from reportedly enlisting in March of 1864. He reported that he served the last few months of the war under Company D for the 4th Alabama Cavalry Regiment in the town of Elba's Home Guard. That would mean he was enlisted at the young age of 16. Furthermore, according to Lundy, he had been honorably discharged at the end of the war. 25 years later, after his alleged service, he moved to Laurel Hill in 1890 with his wife and children, all 10 of them, while reportedly lacking a stable source of income. Beginning in June of 1941 at the alleged age of 93, Lundy began receiving $600 per year from the state of Florida as a pension for his military service. That pension was increased to $900 per year soon after, and once more to $1,800 per year in 1953. The photograph of him standing next to a North American F-100 Super Sabre fighter jet, the main close air support jet during the Vietnam War, was featured complementing a Boston Traveler article from January 18th, 1955. Among other things, the article acknowledged that William Lundy would appear on TV in Pensacola. Lundy enjoyed some public renown from his veteran status, aside from the financial benefits he reaped from the state. In fact, on July 18th of the following year, a joint resolution of Congress authorized bestowing a gold medal on the 4 reported surviving veterans of the American Civil War. Out of the 4, only 1 was a Union soldier, and he unfortunately passed away before the medals were granted to them. William Allen Lundy received the Golden Medal from the Air Force Chief of Staff Nathan Twining, who bestowed it on behalf of President Eisenhower. All 3 of the self-reported surviving Confederate veterans received their medals: John Salling from Virginia, Walter Williams from Texas, and Lundy from Florida. The medals were 3 inches thick, with the images of General Robert E. Lee and General Ulysses S. Grant on the front, and the seals of the Union and Confederacy on the back. Below the seals was an inscription reading, quote, "Presented with honor to the surviving veterans of the war between the states, by Act of Congress, United States of America." A veteran? While William A. Lundy is still mentioned on a Confederate veteran monument, and many, most of all his family, still support his claims, Civil War researchers and historians have denounced his veteran status. He passed away on September 1st of 1957, allegedly at the age of 109 years old, just 1 year short of being a purported super centenarian. This rare feat of longevity raised suspicions about his actual date of birth. Historian William Marvel tried to disprove Lundy's story in a 1999 issue of the Civil War history magazine, Blue and Gray. His findings were not spread widely enough or given sufficient review at the time, yet the matter was taken up again in the 2015 winter issue of P River Trails, an Alabama-based publication distribution and funded by the P River Historical and Genealogical Society. For the Quarterly Journal, historian Scott R. Smith wrote the article, "The Case of Francis Marion Lundy and William Allen Lundy, Father and Son, Self-Declared Confederate Veterans and Bogus Pensioners," largely discrediting the alleged war veteran. Smith relied on military and census records from Alabama and the military to draw his conclusions, which have been considered definitive and exhaustive. The first discrepancy found by Smith was on the matter of age. as records indicated Lundy had been born in 1859, which would have made him around 5 years old by the end of the war, meaning it would have been impossible for him to enlist. Beginning with the federal census of 1910, Lundy successfully and successively increased his age, first claiming he was 57, adding 6 years to his real age. In 1935, after he asked for the veteran's pension, he claimed to be 86 on the census. He was really 75 or 76. Suspicious at first, the Florida Pension Board took about 7 years to process and accept his request. According to Scott R. Smith, quote, "From the beginning, examiners with the Florida Pension Board were suspicious of Lundy's claims and consistently denied his applications. In fact, the board awarded him a pension only because they had to comply, albeit reluctantly, with special bills of the Florida legislature that mandated the benefits." According to theories in the published research, the ruse was intended solely for the purpose of obtaining a pension. Lundy was reportedly a lower-class farmer who first began stating that he was a veteran at the start of the Great Depression. To fool the state, he had another fake veteran vouch for him. As Civil War soldiers began passing away in the 1920s and early 30s, poor record-keeping meant that two false veterans vouching for each other was proof of evidence. These joint applications for pensions would often be granted with no questions asked. Few real veterans would be in a state to fight their claims. Lundy and a friend claimed to have enlisted in Company D of the Coffee County Regiment as part of the Elba Home Guard. Historians have since revealed that Company D was established at the end of summer in 1863, a year before Lundy reportedly joined, and it was separate from the Elba Home Guard. Furthermore, the Guard unit that Lundy joined never fought for the Confederate Army, which would have been necessary for Lundy to claim active military duty. Confederate records don't match Lundy's pension claims, and his name is not listed among any of the Company D records in Alabama or elsewhere. A challenging story. It has been alleged that Lundy desperately reported to feigning veteran status to support his 10 children and wife during one of the most economically challenging periods of American history. Due to all of this information coming to light, Lundy has since been widely regarded as a discredited Civil War veteran, allegedly committing a highly disgraceful act. Yet not everyone has been able to readily embrace the research-backed portrayals of events. William Allen Lundy's descendants fondly celebrate the memory of their Uncle Bill and support his debunked claims. They have reasoned that the timing of the discovery after Lundy's passing seems suspicious, as his claim was not contested in life. They also believe that if the veteran status were a fabrication, either someone in the family would have slipped up, or they wouldn't have supported him and shown such a lack of propriety. In fact, descendant Greg Lundy has claimed, quote, "I do know the character of my father and my uncles and my aunts and my second and third cousins, and my family was too large to keep a ruse like that a secret. It would have come out." While the details of this situation may never be known, the most popularly accepted version of Uncle Bill's story now holds that he was never involved in the American Civil War.